this is your first time here, I'm the Northwest Fisherman Chris, and today we're going to be cracking open the July Monster Bass box. I'm pretty excited. I haven't even peeked at this thing yet. I just kind of broke the tape on it and got ready to shoot the video for you guys. Alright, let's take a look at that book first. Monster Bass Live every Thursday, helping you catch greatness. Box of the Champions of Club Baits. Jeez, wow, I am not real good at reading today, or talking apparently, which is great. I just dropped this Gold Series box, and we're doing Platinum today. I think I might be dropping the Gold to pick up the multi-species, just for variety. So you got your lives on Thursdays, learn, share, and connect with the community, pointers from the pros, ultimate time tested lure, that's going to be your jig, which you can fish literally anywhere at any point in time, all of the time. Then it's going to talk about your jig trailers, perfect mate. I think jigs are one of the most difficult ways to fish. How do I say this? It's one of the two most difficult ways to fish. And I think what makes jigs difficult and complicated, unless you just get like a pointer from like somebody else that fishes your waters, but jigs come in 100 million colors. Jigs come in 3 different head styles. Very, very unique, very, very important for what they do. Tungsten or lead, or I believe zinc, are big factors in what that material is. And then color. And then even at that color, the trailer and its color and what type of trailer. So you have a whole pile of different options, okay? Different things. Now the other one, plus you gotta get your timing down. How you're gonna pop it, how far you're gonna pop it, where in the water you're gonna drop it, whatever. The other, I think, most technically difficult way to fish, the technique, is going to be jerkbait fishing, because there's a whole plethora of jerkbaits. Basically all the same reasons why, the same options. You got different sizes, and then it really comes down to your timing for your cadence, and well, it's a lot of it is on keeping everything the same and not having any differences throughout it, which also makes it really difficult. Moving on, they're going to talk about the ChatterBait, which of course, bladed jigs, they just work, man. I can't say enough good things about bladed jigs. ChatterBaits, jackhammers, stealth blade jackhammers, big blades, thunder crickets. We go on with the plethora because everybody makes one now. And I feel like each one, this category is becoming almost as complicated as jerkbaits and jigs, because there are so many options, and you might not know it. Not all blades are the same. If you go to a water and everybody is throwing a jackhammer, the last thing you really want to throw is a jackhammer. Stealth blade is a really good option, or you can flip up brands. Go to like a thunder cricket. Keep it in mind, guys. I always carry them. I always try to carry, if I'm going to carry bladed jigs, I'm going to carry jackhammer, stealth blade. Don't always have a big blade. The original ChatterBait, Minimax, thunder cricket, and 2 different sizes. And then I can't think of the other one I carry. Basically, pretty much all the time. Then Topwater. Topwater is so awesome right now. Nothing better than those big blow-ups. Epic Eric's Bait Hacker. MLF Monthly. Your astrology tables. And then people that caught their PBs with stuff out of the box in the last month. Alright, let's get to the box. And right off the bat, here we go. Black and blue ChatterBait. This is the 3/8 ounce guy with the hand-tied skirt, 5/0 hook, You know the drill. It's got all the good stuff. I'm probably don't really have to talk a whole lot about this, but I'm going to. And they nailed it with probably one of my favorite colors for it. ChatterBait Elite. Black and blue. It's a really great go-to color. It's got that big 5/0 hook, that hand-tied skirt, so it's wire-tied on there. It's not going anywhere. This is not falling apart. I think it's maybe in the light in here is kind of messing with me a little bit because this black and blue looks different than my black and blue ones that I already have. You got your black blade, that big 5/0 hook. Let's check out that hook keeper. And Z-Man's not letting us down. This guy has a hook keeper, single molded hook keeper. These are great chatterbaits. These catch fish. I mean, bladed jigs work really, really, really well. And black and blue is one of probably my first go-to color in most water anywhere, because it just works. And then what I use for a trailer is that black and blue razor shad. I don't have one handy, otherwise I'd show you guys one and even rig this up. But the razor shad, that is my favorite chatterbait trailer for the full-size chatterbaits. But when you get smaller ones, it changes. But you can throw anything else on here, but make sure that you at least throw something on there for a trailer. Even if it is like a broken off Senko where it's just a nubbin like that, it really helps with the fish when they come up to suck it in, because it gives it more mass, something more for them to draw into their mouths. So that's super solid. Then we got the Reaction Strike. Oh, it's got katana hooks too. Reaction Strike XRM 100 MD. So this is medium diving jerkbait. Let's learn more about this guy here. It's 6 to 10 feet. It's got a weight transfer system, and this one is ghost threadfin shad. And is a suspending jerkbait. So when you throw this guy out, reel it down a little bit, and you reel it down to your kind of desired depth, which you'll figure out as you fish with them, how much you need to reel it down, and it'll just sit there. And then you pop, 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 pause, or pop, pop, pause, or gentle twitch. Depending on your water, depending on the time of year, this is an excellent jerkbait. In a 100 size with that big bill, there ain't nothing wrong with it. It's got this nice dark blue, probably black back, a little bit of teal on the side because it's a threadfin shad, a little bit of red there. You got your red around your gill plates there. Let's check out these hooks. Nice black nickel hooks. They're katanas, which is great. You don't see katana hooks very often anymore on a tremendous amount of things. But let's give this guy a listen and see what it sounds like. Nice heavy knock. Okay. That's going to be pretty sweet. I really like the profile of this bait overall. Don't get me wrong, the Vision 110 is the benchmark for jerkbaits, but sometimes I like having just a different profile and a slightly sized down version. Yeah, I could stand here and talk about jerkbaits all day. I'm a big fan of these guys. Big fan of jerkbaits. I really like that. Reaction Strike. I'm going to have to remember this if it turns out that I really like this jerkbait. I've become kind of a jerkbait snob, especially about deep divers. I don't want to talk about how many Vision 110s I have now. My girlfriend may or may not be listening, so we're not going to talk about how many Vision 110s I have or how much they are. Okay, so here's our topwater bait here. We get a Yozuri 3DB. This is a pencil topwater. And it's floating, of course, 100 millimeter, 9/16 of an ounce, so it's just under a half. The color on this is real bluegill. I really do like this. Hooks are a number 2, rings are a number 4. I like the usury baits. Okay, let's get a good look at this, because this thing is really different looking. So you've got this dark green back, then you go into a green scale. So the whole bait is translucent. And then you get into that reflective material inside that gives you your color. And you get to your belly where it kind of just washes it out. So your pencil baits, how do I want to describe this better than like a regular walking bait? Because I mean, it's walking bait-esque. I like to pop these across the surface and treat it like a topwater jerkbait. I guess that's probably not the best explanation, but it's going to go on top of the water. It's going to float. It's going to kind of twitch it back to you. It's not going to be like a walking bait where it's going to just kind of whip from side to side. This is going to stay fairly true. Well, other pencil baits I've used in the past, they've stayed fairly true. You could even, you can straight retrieve it if you're looking for something subtle to just move across the water. You could do that, but really you want those subtle little twitches, just kind of, you don't, because it's not going to create a splash, but you don't want it to move too far too fast. So just kind of just keep it moving, just little twitches. You don't necessarily have to do it with the rod. You can do it with the reel, kind of like you would with a big glide bait. But I like pencil baits. They're not always the best topwater for the job, but they get bit when nothing else is gonna get bit, because they're subtle and they're just different enough of everything else. So let's give this guy a listen. Nice heavy knock in there. Yeah. This is going to be a great bait. This is going to be an absolutely great bait. But you guys get another look at it before I set him down. Pencil baits, they're not always the go-to bait, but when you're in the spot on those dog days and you're just not getting bit on everything else, give it a try. Alright, next up, we got the MONSTERBASS Rolo 6, 4 to 6 foot diving. So this is it's like a shallow to medium guy. I wouldn't call it medium quite, because it doesn't go to 8, and I really feel that's where medium is. They go to at least 8 or 12 in that range, so I'd call this a shallow. So the Rolo 6 is 2.5 inches long, and it's 1/2 of an ounce. This one has a really cool green craw pattern to it. They call this moss craw. It's fitting because it's green. Yeah, well, it's got that nice black back. It's got all the stripes and color profile of a crawfish. It's got this awesome black feather tail on the back here, and it's got this red hook. This thing is definitely set up to do damage. I really like this. I like this a lot. 4 to 6 feet, so it would be good in some shallow instances, because a lot of times you will never hit that maximum depth, because that usually is restricted by your line size. So if you're running heavier lines so you don't lose it, or you're targeting larger fish, you're not going to get that full 6 feet out of it. So realistically, this is probably more like a 4. But this would be great for those like flats, especially for bank fishermen that have a large flat in front of them, kind of like a shelf. Just pull this back across that shelf or across the diagonal across it. You'll get bit, stay in those shade lines with it. I think this would be a really great bait. Let's give this thing a shake. It doesn't really make a sound. I don't think it said it was silent. Doesn't say anything about being silent. Interesting. Because I think all my other Rolo 6s that I've gotten, all the ones I bought, I don't think they were silent. I feel like they rattled. But that makes it kind of really better, actually, in a lot of ways. Because we're into those dog days. Or rapidly approaching, depending on where in the country you are. That's a solid bait. Alright, what do we got next? Let's just kind of make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. So we got a lifted jig, sup jig. Let's crack this thing open. Super dark colors. Alright, the color that they call this thing is dark anchovy, 3/8 ounce. Oh, and it's a stand-up jig too. So by a stand-up jig, it's got this flat surface on the face here. So, well, it works better with the buoyancy of the trailer, but it stands up. So when you pop it, it goes up, flutter falls back down. The trailer does this work, and then it just sits like that. Hook up, weed guard up. Let's give this weed guard a feel. Oh, and that weed guard's right there in that magic area between too hard that it messes with the fish and so soft that it's worthless as a weed guard. This thing's about perfect for a weed guard. Let's get a really good look at the skirt. So the top half of the skirt, on mine at least, because it's not hand tied or anything like that, just a regular silicone skirt. So you've got black, blue, and green stripes on the top, and then you've got black and blue on the bottom. By black and blue, I mean black skirt with blue speck. This thing looks pretty wicked. I like this. I like this a lot. What do we get to go with it? Any other hooks or anything like that? Nope. Alright, let's check out these big bite baits. Sensation. Sculptor purple's the color. They call this the Sensation Ramtail 35. So, it's probably going to be 3.5 inches long. And I'm kind of dumb and didn't rip the top off of it. I'll show this again. Alright, get one of these guys out here. So this is like a twin tail. So you just kind of rip those free, just like that. Just like that. This is a really nice plum color. I don't know how well that's going to show up for you guys. But it's a nice, like, dark red plum. Going back to our jig. So, with jigs that have weed guards, that makes them a little bit more difficult in ways to rig, because you gotta get that weed guard out of your way. So you're just gonna push it up through, and through the main part of the back, I guess I'm going to go with on this one. Yep. And then you're going to go up and over. Bam. Guy just like that. And then while this is sitting up, hopefully that these are sensitive enough that they're going to stay flipping, floating with those big ridges back there. And then when you pop it up, they're going to take off swimming. You're going to get a nice swimming action, and when it comes back down, it's going to catch those once again, and it's going to swim it back down. That's a great color combo, actually. I really like that. I like that a lot. That turned out great. Okay, and it looks like we got another jig trailer, so let's see if I can get this off here without ruining it, because I'd really hate to ruin it, because I just opened the package. Bam. Okay. Billy Goat in black and blue. Yo. As far as like trailers go, this is also another trailer that I kind of really like for the chatterbaits, because you can definitely throw that on there and it works great. You can even turn this sideways to give it a larger side profile, and you get that paddles kicking. You gotta rip the legs apart. It's Lonsec, so you're not gonna mess this up, guys. So you can be rough with it. But let's put this on our jig. Actually, this is definitely not meant for the jig. This is definitely meant for the chatterbait. So let's just throw it on the chatterbait. Measure it up to the side. We're going to go to right about there. Now rig this guy up here sideways for you guys. With Elastic products, you have to make sure that you do your best to try to keep it straight when you're rigging it, because it's not like normal soft plastics where you have that leeway inside it. Once it's on, that is the channel that it is in, and it is not going to move around inside there. So we're just gonna, nope, that's not what I want. So rigging these sideways, like I was saying, is a little bit more difficult. Than it should be. Okay. So we're going to go like that. And then this hook keeper up here on the front here, we got to make sure it's pretty well perfectly lined up. Pull it over it just like that. And then just keep pulling and working with it, because you're not going to hurt it. And then, end result, end up with a bait like this. This thing is pretty large, but they will hit this. The big boys will come up and hit this, because it is a lot of bait moving. But yeah, so here we go. Got our Monster Bass July American Flag-esque decal. I like that a lot. Got my golden ticket for the giveaway every Thursday. And then I got my Fish Angler card. So because I'm a Monster Bass member, I get Fish Angler for free now. So I'm definitely going to check this out and see what I think about it. So yeah, that is it for July. Monster Bass Platinum Box. If you guys are going out right now in the summer, stay hydrated, okay? Be mindful of your surroundings, you know, bugs, boaters, poisonous things, spiders, snakes, things that want to eat you. Well, it's mosquitoes and gators and geese, because geese are mean. But stay hydrated and try to keep yourself out of the sun or limit your exposure. Wear your sunscreen. That would be absolutely fantastic. Or even better yet, if you've got like UV shirts, I've got a couple, and they keep me from looking like a lobster. And you got to protect your skin, guys. You really got to protect your skin and take care of yourselves. Okay? So anyway, while you're out there this summer, till I catch you again, remember FAFO. Fish around and find out, guys. Take care.